Welcome everyone and welcome to today's video. It's here, F122 has finally arrived and with it comes VR support. What we've been asking Codemasters to add for a very long time, and it's pretty much thanks to those guys at EA that we've got it. If they didn't purchase Codemasters, probably wouldn't be coming to you guys now with my first impressions on VR support, because I've had this game for a week now as I record this. I purchased the Champions Edition, so got 3 days early access, and yeah, safe to say it hasn't been all plain sailing. So what we're going to do, we're going to jump into a race or some footage from myself trying out F122 in VR around Silverstone, and over that, I'm going to talk about my positives and negatives so far. So remember to hit that like and subscribe button, turn those notifications on, and let's get into it. So guys, I am a very positive person. I like to start with the positives and look for the best in all scenarios, and that includes F122. So we're going to start off with our positives here, and the first and foremost one we're going to start off with is just starting the game up. Now it may sound quite trivial, why am I starting off my first impressions with just being able to start the game up? Well, trust me, if you've played R Factor 2 back in the day, it was like a maze trying to find how to enable VR support and to play that sim in VR. And the fact that you can just double click on this game, whether it be in Steam or in EA Origin, and it already detects that your VR headset is connected and provides you the option to start in either monitor or VR, is just a small thing that goes a long way. It just starts you off correctly, because we want to be able to get in that game first and foremost, and that's what we're able to do. So that's my first positive. Secondly, the false feedback. Now, I actually quite like the false feedback. Some people have been complaining, but coming from iRacing, which I predominantly race on, I think it's okay. Once you've got your wheel set up and fine-tuned your false feedback, like you have to do on pretty much all sims or games, then I've been really enjoying the experience. I feel like I can feel understeer, I can feel the force through the tyres, I can feel oversteer and catch it, and yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that people are saying false feedback is an issue, but that's just my personal experience and through my wheelbase as well. Once it gets working, little tidbit for you guys there later in the video. Now the third positive is the general UI. The UI itself is really clean. I like it, easy to navigate, especially in VR. Has always performed really well in VR as well. No lagging, crashes or FPS drop. And then you move on to the on-screen display, which is a fourth positive, where I really like how this on-screen display is. The HUD, there's so much customization. You can increase the virtual mirror or change its opacity, as well as track maps, all the information that I've wanted within a headset when I've been playing a sim. Because while I do love the authentic experience in VR, I do want to have necessarily a casual experience and just have access to a wide variety of information while racing, because that's what it's about. It's about enjoyment. I don't want to be that hardcore racer the whole time. And speaking of enjoyment, which is what we want, unfortunately I have not had a lot of enjoyment on this game since it has been released. This game, in my personal opinion, has been released unfinished. It is not well optimized. There are a number of bugs, audio and physical, with hardware. The image clarity is very poor, and a number of other wide varying reasons. All you have to do is pop onto the EA forums or onto Steam discussions, and you will see the wide variety of complaints that people are having on all platforms: Xbox, PlayStation, PC, VR, monitors. It has been a very, very poor release of this game, and reminds me a lot of Battlefield 2042, how EA gave early access at a premium a week early to guys that paid more money for the Champions Edition of Battlefield 2042, as an example. And the game was broken. For that first week, in essence, those early access guys who paid extra money were beta testers and didn't get their money back. It was so shocking, and they've done it again. Now, this is EA's first F1 game with Codemasters, and it's just a continued pattern, and I'm seeing it more and more in the gaming industry as a whole at the moment. And we, as gamers as a whole, need to step up and stop this from happening, just like how microtransactions got out of hand, loot boxes, and we actually put our money where our mouth is and didn't pay out for them. They have improved over time. There's still microtransactions, as there is in this game, unfortunately. Don't get me started on F1 Life. Haven't even touched it because I have no interest on it. But we're going to get into the negatives. There's so much more than the positives, because I could only name off 4 positives. And it is mainly evolved around VR support, because that's what I'm here for. I don't really have much interest in playing this game without VR. I've been quite open about that in the past few years, when I've been calling for VR support, and we do finally get it, and I'm glad that we have. But it is in such a poor place at the moment, and it really does make me wonder what the creators, the EA creators, and the early access guys were talking about. So the content creators, the streamers, in regards to their reviews and their first looks at the game. They either got a game that was in a very good state. It was kind of only one track, and probably maybe had a load of... It was probably very highly amped up version of a demo, so that they could put out content of a very good version of the game, or limited version of the game. That's one option. Or it's 2, and it was shocking, and no one had the balls to say that it was shocking, because they didn't want to lose their privileges of getting early access to F1 games and events and stuff. We know how kind of precious some of these big gaming companies can be. No one can take criticism, and that shouldn't be the case. Constructive criticism should be welcomed, and that's the whole idea of getting first looks here, is picking out points that are going to be able to be developed on and fixed before it's released. Because at the moment, as far as I see it, we are still in the beta stage, yet people are being charged full price and at a premium to play the game. And it's really, really frustrating. I haven't seen, personally, on PC for EA Origin, a patch yet. I haven't seen any correspondence of patch notes that are coming out like you do on iRacing, Automobilista 2, where the developers and people in charge of those platforms get in contact with the community and inform you of what is going to be patched in the upcoming updates. There has been very limited amount of correspondence from people from either Codemasters or EA in the forums, and if it has, it's been more about defending themselves than it has been actually giving people relative information. But VR support in itself, it is in a poor place. It's very poorly optimized. The image is you either have to sacrifice performance for a clearer image, and even then it's still blurry, or you have to increase performance and sacrifice image quality. A number of you have been very helpful in my community posts, giving me suggestions. I've pretty much tried them all. I've tried turning off anti-aliasing, which I've done. To me, that massively improves my FPS, but I just cannot play with that image. It is so poor, so jagged, which it's just really bizarre because I see F122's graphics, while they may be a little bit more arcadey, I see their graphics being quite good in previous games, and now it's on the same game engine. And on iRacing, as an example, I have anti-aliasing turned off, and yet I still have a very smooth looking image. There isn't a lot of jagged edges about, even with anti-aliasing turned off. So that shows to me how poorly optimized it is. So the only way I can get a clearer image is, or higher clarity of image, is by having anti-aliasing turned on, TAA with fidelity FX sharpening on to be exact. DLSS just takes too much of a hit in performance, and so do the other options as well. And it's just really, really frustrating because as you can probably see in the image in front of you, there are drops in FPS, and there's nothing I can really do about it because I need a balance of being able to play and enjoy this game comfortably through my headset, and then also to have a clear enough and smooth enough image for you guys. And it's just really, really frustrating at the moment. And one of the big kickers has been the fact that I have a Fanatec wheelbase, so do many others, and Fanatec pedals, and there has been a direct correlation with this equipment being directly plugged into your PC, causing performance loss. So FPS hits. So I have, when having my pedals plugged into my PC and not through my wheelbase, I could only get 30 frames per second. Whereas if I unplugged them and put my Xbox controller in, it then went straight up to 45 frames per second before making any changes to any settings. So just, it's a poorly optimized game out of the box, and it is, to me, it should still have that tab at the top where the early access guys, the content creators, where it said work in progress version, it should still have that at the top, if you ask me, because this isn't a complete game. This should not be £50. This should not be 70, £80 that they're charging for the premium versions of the game. And it really needs to be cracked down upon. I would love to give you guys more content and create a My Team series, but at this moment in time, I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I can last that long within the headset to put that together for you guys. I would love to, but it needs some big patches at the moment. And lastly, the last thing I'm going to have a little moan about as well is the actual physics of the game. Now, I said I like the force feedback. I really do. But what I don't like is the throttle control. Why is it so sensitive, guys? Is it just me? But I think it's so sensitive. I like to think I have good throttle control driving the F1 car, the Mercedes W12 in iRacing. Now, that's a Mercedes worked directly with iRacing to bring that to the sim. So to me, that's as close to driving a real life F1 car as you can. So the throttle control is relative to how it should be probably in real life. Now, I'm not saying F122 is a sim. It's not. I know that. But it is unnecessarily sensitive that I am spinning the car in 4th, 5th gear, because when I think I'm far enough around the corner and I can put my foot down on the throttle and get the downforce, the rear just spins on me. And I don't think I'm alone in this. I have seen some people commenting about it in the forums. So yeah, really, that needs to be sorted as well, because that's also another aspect that is ruining the experience for me. I've added a little bit of throttle linearity, I think that's how you pronounce it, to try and prolong that acceleration period. But at the moment, I can't do manual starts and I can't do manual releases in the pit stops because it's just too sensitive for my liking. So yeah, hopefully that's something that they alter as well. Or maybe it's just always been there in F1 games, but I don't think it has. I don't think it was like that in F1 2021. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. That is where VR support is for me at the moment. I thought I'd give you guys my experiences over the past week. This game has a lot of potential. It really does. And when it works, it is good fun. It just needs to be optimized more. It needs one massive patch to sort it all out, or to a number of patches in quick succession to sort the issue out. And ultimately, it needs the developers to have some communication with the players, because we're the ones who've gone out and bought this game. We're the ones who will fund this game moving forward from the profits, and we are entitled, and we're paying customers, and we're entitled to some communication in regards to fixing what I see at this moment in time, and it's harsh words, a broken product. And if you bought a broken product from a store, you would take it back and ask for a refund or a replacement or a fix. And at the moment, limited people are getting refunds. I'm not willing to do that. I do want to see how this plays out. But yeah, it needs a big, massive fix. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you agree? Do you have anything to add? I am all ears and open for discussion. I'm interested to hear how everyone's experiences have been, because some people have had real good experiences, some people haven't. I think it all comes down to expectations as well. I have quite high expectations for VR support because I've had the experience of racing in iRacing, in VR, in Automobilista 2, Project Cars 2, where they have brilliant VR support. And I don't think there's really an excuse for a AAA game, AAA sports game, bearing in mind this is F1, this is their IP, this is their official game. There is no excuse for the state that it has been released in. So yeah, rant over, guys. And hopefully they sort it all out, and I'll be absolutely lording over this game in the near future. But yeah, we need a couple of patches to sort it out before kind of I can really start pumping some content out for you guys. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below, and see you for the next one. Bye.